Поехали. Поехали. Значит, так, прибыли, значит, на остров к своему старому другу, а он умер. Ну что ж, знаете, в трубе. Мертвый в трубе. Ну что ж, мистер... Так, Дворецкий. Ну, как известно, убийца у нас Дворецкий всегда, да? Служанка. Будем исследовать. Давай-ка, что у нас?
A bust of the great composer, Beethoven.
Not just a great composer, but an excellent at tricks too, you know. I hear he was an expert at rolling over.
A bust of the great Caesar. Gilfrey was most interested in ancient history.
Good grief, look at his eyes. They look even more soulless than the real thing.
Easy with you and primates, Frumple.
Это шутка, как в ЧПДЛ, да? Про то, что CGI глаза не настоящие. Так. Так, позвони в полицию.
It would be prudent to alert someone on the mainland to the death. Hello, operator?
Ухи так шевелятся.
Ah yes, hello. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to connect me to Scotland Yard. Inspector Culver's office, if you please. Yes, thank you.
Неудобно
What the devil,
вышло.
the lights have gone out.
И телефон-то отрубился. А нет.
What on earth was all that about?
I'm not sure. I say, the telephone line has gone dead. And look at this.
Crikey, that's a bit of a mess. What could have done
Кто-то в
this?
темноте.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're not going to be able to contact the mainland until we can get this repaired.
Надо починить
This
провод.
wire has been severed cleanly too, by the looks of it.
Bit suspect if you ask me. Can we repair it?
Maybe if we can find some replacement wire to bridge the gap.
Кто выключил свет?
Do you know why we've all been invited here?
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. I don't. The master was being most mysterious about it. Something to do with his research, I'd fancy, but it's all beyond me.
Perhaps we could discuss the other people who are here. Who else is on the staff?
Other than Ambrose, there's just Pumphrey, the gardener. Such a shame to see the house so low on staff. Oh, my lord, you should have seen the place when my mistress was still alive.
Used to be more of you, eh?
Oh, yes, sir. It's really just a skeleton staff now. The master was away so much on his travels. More so since the mistress passed away. He doesn't need a full staff these days, I'm afraid.
Гостик
What can
тут
you tell me
что?
about the guests here?
I don't know any of them well. It's the first time we've had guests since the mistress died. God rest her soul. You're the last to arrive, so you'll find them all around the house.
Ну что ж.
Thank you very much.
Так.
That'll be all for now.
Мы с вами еще поговорим. Что там? Давно работает. Про этих ничего не известно пока. Подожди. Все? Ладно, с гостями потом. Где?
Another fine piece of artwork from Gilfrey's collection.
Хорошо.
This is a portrait of Gilfrey's late wife, Ethelberta. She died tragically young a few years ago.
Утка и вот это вот
How
что
did she
это?
die, anyway?
It was a terrible incident involving an airship.
I say, crashed with her on board.
No, she flew too close to the propellers and, well, you can imagine the rest.
Oh, grisly way to go.
Серьезно? Это что, дочь их?
A painting of Gilfrey's only daughter, Constance.
Ой. Честно говоря, что-то даже не знаю, как это.
Another fine piece of artwork from Gilfrey's collection.
Как это может... Ну ладно.
I say, Winklebottom, that fellow must have been going like a bomb when you ran into that wall, what?
I think I've heard that one before, and it's not in very good taste.
I suppose when you think about it, it is quite an odd tradition. A little morbid, in fact. Look, the poor fellow even has some of his clothing still on him.
This chap is beyond even your skills, I fear. Let's leave him be.
Это хорошо сказал, конечно.
Ah, portrait of the great fellow himself.
Distinguished looking chap, eh, Winklebottom?
Ну-ка еще раз скажи там. Пошутит.
I say, Winklebottom, that fellow must have got...
I think I've heard that one before.
I suppose when you think about it, it is quite...
This chap is beyond even your skills, I fear. Let's leave him be.
Вот это вот мне нравится. Так, а где его гостиная, комната, кухня, столовая? Где его нашли-то? Я что-то забыл даже. Уже осмотреть надо.
A painting of one Max the Tux Sheldon. I say, didn't this fellow help us out in a case once?
Indeed so. Quite a respectable chap now, but had a bit of a murky past, I recall.
Yes, gave us some information about a particularly loathsome fellow who'd been running a smuggling ring.
Подозрительный тип, согласен. Еще один код.
A portrait of Vitus Varnus.
Maybe somebody Gilfrey knew from his military days. Looks like a pretty tough, brave sort to me, at any rate.
Seems like a most agreeable fellow.
Тоже круто. О,
I say, Frumple, this is a portrait of King Alec, a most popular monarch in his day.
Oh, indeed so. A very good old boy, as I understand it.
Quite so, Frumple. A good boy indeed.
Так, тут у нас что? Ванная, спальня.
The guest bedroom's all down here. I
Don't know why we bother. Even the daftest criminal isn't stupid enough to leave incriminating evidence lying around his own bedroom.
Ну, я понял, что надо не сюда идти. Надо...
Well, that was a bally waste of time. What did I tell you?
I know, old friend, but we had to do it.
Ванна. Там у нас что? Ага, а не в этой ли трубе у нас? Сейчас, подожди, давай.
This might prove useful.
Absolutely not. Why, if you take that, people won't be able to wash their hooves after their ablutions. Absolutely filthy. No, I won't allow it.
Так. Что ты?
I'll just take this.
You know, I can prescribe medication if you need it. You don't have to go around stealing drugs from dead people.
It's an empty bottle, Frumple.
Точно? Ну давай закрой.
Look at this. Silly beggars have put the toilet roll on the wrong way round.
В смысле не то? Ты чё?
You know, between this and the tea fiasco, I sometimes feel like I barely know who you are anymore. Just a swift pull and the water flushes away.
Да.
Isn't modern science wonderful?
I don't wish to go right now, and certainly not with Frumple standing here.
Грязный дядя, это что такое? О, нифига себе. Ну да, животные-то разные бывают.
Different seats for small, medium and large posteriors. Saves accidents with smaller animals falling in the bowl. Most considerate.
Особенно таких маленьких, как хозяин, например, да?
Part of Gilfrey's pipe network. This one must have allowed him to easily get into the bath.
Я так и не
Looks like
понял,
great
кем
fun.
был-то.
Would be better with a mud pit at the end of it, though.
Это ящерица какая-то или что это? О! Хитрый лис.
Ah, I do believe I've met this gentleman, a fellow by the name of Tobin.
Wily looking chap. I dare say he would have a tale or two to tell.
Indeed so, quite the talented wordsmith too. He throws around some most impressive verbiage.
Пингвин.
This is a self-portrait, apparently, of a fellow by the name of Lake Cabilius, a renowned scientist and explorer.
Maybe a colleague of Gilfrey's.
Perhaps so. I believe I may have met the chap once at a party held by him and his husband. Very good food, as I recall.
Ага. Инклюзивность в стайле. Ну и ладно. Подожди, а вот то, что тут кальмаровые эти, ни на что не намекает? Нет, тут тоже. Кабинет, чердак. Подожди, он в кабинете, наверное, помер. Ой. А вы кто? Ой-ой, извините.
From what I recall, this door leads to the attic. Sadly, it appears to be locked at the moment.
Oh, why do people insist on locking doors all over the place? Most inconvenient. Nobody ever considers us.
I rather imagine Gilfrey wasn't expecting to die, so probably wasn't anticipating our investigation.
Well, yes, I suppose the whole thing is rather more inconvenient for him.
Подожди, а где он умер-то? Дайте тело осмотреть доктору.
We should make sure to fully interrogate everybody in...
And besides, I wouldn't much fancy my chances in that storm anyway.
Ну я понял, да, не хочешь, не надо. Столовая, кухня. Вот там, видимо, эти сидят сейчас все. Подожди. О, так его зовут Аристотель. Парика не было на острове, кажется. В трубе. Ну ладно, давай тогда с этих начнем. Кто вы там были? Кто бы вы там ни были?
A diving suit, used by Gilfrey to remain out of his tube system for long periods. It looks like the helmet can be removed. I know I can carry a lot of things, but I draw the line at lugging around a big metal helmet for no very good reason.
Так, там
A
что у нас?
photograph from one of Gilfrey's expeditions.
Jeff suddenly got around a bit, didn't he?
О, да.
Oh, I say, this is a bit risque.
I've never understood why mole rats are so averse to wearing clothing like any normal animal.
Bunch of exhibitionists, if you ask me.
Так, письменный стол, ящики. Господа, давай попрощаться.
We shall speak more later.
Always here if you need me.
Хорошо. Нет уж, давай поговорим. Здорово.
Greetings, good sir.
Блин, это прям вообще
Ulysses
классно.
Spode of Spode and Flabbernacle. At your service, sir.
What a ludicrous collection of names that is.
Quite so, Frumple. And what part do you play in today's events?
Don't rightly know, sir. Old Gilfrey wanted me to come and observe, he said. Worried there might be a spot of bother about whatever
Ну и
it
что
was
вы,
he was announcing.
что вы
Legal bother, you mean?
наблюдали уже?
As you say. Wouldn't tell me in advance what the whole bally palaver was all about, though. I suppose now we'll never know.
Well, perhaps.
So, since I'm here anyway and the old boy has popped off, might as well sort through his paperwork and make sure everything is in order. Lots to sort out when somebody dies, you know. Especially somebody as rich as him.
Рич? Так, значит, может на дочку упасть подозрение. Тем более, что она не очень похожа на его дочь.
We shall speak more later.
Always here if you need me.
А, вот труба. Может, он в этой трубе погиб? Что это?
Looks like our dear friend Inspector Culver has solved another case. It seems this was an international case. He was aided by a foreign chap named Inspector Waffles.
Иностранец. Значит, на Пуаро намек. Он же вроде бельгиец, а они в Англии находятся, да? Waffles.
I'd rather go for a waffle right now.
Is there any time you couldn't?
Кажется, они что-то немножко о другом говорили, да?
A collection of old foreign coins. Gilfrey liked to keep them as a memento of his travels.
I had a patient pay me in foreign currency once. Gave me 1,000 something others as payment. Thought I was rich, but it turned out they were only worth half a crown.
Кстати, карта интересно раз. размалевано. Ну ладно, это потом посмотрим. Ну давай, вы кто? Мистер.
Greetings, dear lady.
А, это
Oh, hello.
миссис. А, точно. А как ты различаешь? Не по
I am
одежде же.
Lord Winklebottom III, and this is my companion, Dr. Frumple.
I'm Vivian. Dr. Vivian Price.
You're a doctor.
Yes. Well, sort of. Not medicine. Geology. And physics. Also biology and linguistics. A few things.
Yes, well, medicine is difficult, especially for a, well, you know.
Блин.
Frumple.
Ой.
Oh, don't worry. I'm used to that sort of reaction.
По-моему, не привыкла.
Were you invited here for this great announcement too?
Me? Oh, no, I live here. Well, not here in the house, but on the island. I worked, I suppose, for Admiral Gilfrey.
Strange, the maid didn't mention other stuff.
No, she wouldn't. People tend to forget about me, you see, Mr. Winklebottom. Sometimes I think I might as well just blend into the scenery.
What was the nature of your employment here?
Посинела, значит, волнуется, я
You know
думаю.
of Gilfrey's expeditions. I helped him examine the artifacts he brought back. Cataloguing, mostly. But sometimes there'd be something more interesting.
Anything
Например?
recently? Could that be what he intended to announce? Some big discovery?
No, nothing. I'm sure I would have known if there was something like that. I am sorry, Mr. Winklebottom.
Winklebottom.
What do you know of the other people in the house?
Not very much, I'm afraid. I haven't really spoken to anybody. I don't even know the staff all that well. I tried talking to the gardener earlier, but he was in a frightful temper.
Соня, не только глаз, в смысле зрачок, а весь глаз шевелится все-таки. Чуть-чуть.
You mentioned the gardener was in a bad mood. Do you know why?
Oh, well, he's always kind of grumpy, you know, but he seemed perfectly livid last time I saw him. Thought he was being given the sack, I think. Something about a vegetable patch. You should probably ask him.
Хорошо, так и сделаю. Так, ладно, пока.
Thank you, miss.
Так, что у меня тут есть? Это создовник. Он что, улитка, что ли? Подожди, а этот где? Вот он. Тоже приказчик. Хорошо. Пусто.
A wire metal hanger with nothing hanging on it.
Это странно.
Maybe his clothes are in the wash, or maybe he didn't need to wash them anyway. I mean, what with him being submerged most of the time anyway.
Тогда зачем ему вешалки? Возьмем. Так, возьмем, говорю.
Might come in useful, I suppose.
Угу. Да, второй тоже. Ну ладно. Так. Еще фото.
Photographs from some of
Дерево.
Gilfrey's expeditions.
Chap certainly got around.
А. Хорошо. Посмотрим, что там на столе. Оп. Нож.
A small blade used for opening letters.
My God, Winklebottom, this might be it. The murder weapon.
Other than there being no blood in the water, this blade barely being sharp enough to break paper, let alone flesh, and the fact the murderer would have to dry it off and place it back in his desk after using it, rather than just taking it with him, yes, I'd say this fits the facts rather well.
Nobody likes you when you act like a blasted clever clogs, you know.
On top of all that, we don't even know that this is a murder yet.
Yes, you've made your point.
Хорошо, ладно. Не нож. А да блокнот.
A notepad. Looks like the top page has been torn off.
Там был записан. Он успел написать имя убийцы.
Oh, you know what this means. Quick, give me a pencil. I'm going to rub over it and reveal what was written on the torn-off sheet. This is my favourite.
Давай
Here you
посмотрим.
go then.
It's working, it's working.
Let me see now. 1 dozen eggs, 1 lettuce, a quart of milk. Well done, Frumple. You've uncovered an old shopping list.
Oh, how disappointing.
Стоп. Что было написано? А. Ну-ка.
This is the most upsetting thing that's happened.
I'm not sure it's quite at the top of my list from...
Ну ладно. Бумага.
Oh, look, this is a map of the island. This will come in useful, I'm sure.
Угу.
Let's take one of these envelopes.
Что, да? Карта.
A map of the island.
А как ее посмотреть-то
A
можно,
map
нет?
of-
Я не знаю, как-нибудь посмотреть.
This seems unlikely to be...
В смысле, а зачем мне карта, если я не могу посмотреть? Нифига тут народу уже скопилось. Это я еще даже не всех посмотрел.
A map of the island.
Ну, я не знаю. Тут нету? Громкости, яркости. Вернуться? Нет. А как?
This seems unlikely.
Ну ладно. Вот еще раз не посмотрим.
This appears to be a large collection of books about botany.
Plants and whatnot. How dull. Biology is much more interesting.
We could spend days looking through these books. Maybe if we had something specific to search for.
О! А это дочка его в яйце еще?
This must be a baby photograph of Constance.
Look at a little bow.
Не надо еще раз. Подожди. Скриншотик.
This must be a baby photograph of Constance.
Look at a little bow.
Все, нету труба еще.
This tube is part of the network of pipes Gilfrey used to get around the house. Being amphibious, he preferred to stay in these as much as possible.
Ingenious system, mind you.
The sign next to this light says, "Warning, do not open pressure valve when pump is powered."
Maybe just a slight turn, just to see what happens.
No, Frumpel.
Это
Now, this
насос
is
или?
interesting. Gilfrey would get out of his pipe network in here.
Oh, could he do that? Breathe air, I mean.
Oh yes, for a short while anyway. For longer periods, he'd use a pressure suit. But you see, if we flush out the water, we might be able to get access to the body.
Так он до сих пор, я думаю,
Like a
вытащили
damn
уже.
autopsy. Oh, I do like a good autopsy. Oh, sorry, old man.
То есть подожди, это... Это насос или не насос?
See if we can't drain the system to get Gilfrey out of there.
Wait, we can't do this while the water pumps are turned on. We'd probably flood the house. Or, at the very least, I might get water in me tea.
Ну, а где насос тогда находится? Внизу где-то? Надо у служанки спросить. Так, чердак закрыт. В ванной мы были. Там спальни гостей.
That'll be all
Нету. Так. Столовую? Ну пошли в столовую посмотрим. Ага, вот гости.
Large double windows looking out onto the island.
Not exactly the jolliest view one could ask for.
This tube is
Это
part of the
труба.
network of pipes Gilfrey used to get around the house.
Ingenious system.
Ну ладно, это мы уже слышали. Так. Ага, может
Roaring
погреться.
hot
Хорошо.
fire, very-
Хорошо.
This painting is called Adventure Awaits, apparently.
Personally, I could do with a bit less adventure in my life.
Тоже какой-то кот в шляпе знакомый, нет? Какие часы? Ага.
A fine-looking grandfather clock, though it appears to be stopped currently.
My third cousin had one of these. I used to mess around with the hands to hear the cuckoo going off.
Are you sure that's not a cuckoo clock you're thinking of?
No, my third cousin is a cuckoo and he really hates me messing around with his grandfather.
Хорошо, ладно. О, это кто? Так, сумочка с... Мадам Лавиния. Ага!
I
Она
believe
может...
these are used to see into the future. Rather a pity they can't see into the past, so they could find out what happened to Gilfrey. I say, Frumple, I can see a mist starting to form in this.
No, old boy, that's just your monocle steaming up because of the heat from the fire.
Oh, then we probably shan't get any answers this way.
А ты скептик, да? Не веришь вот в это все. Хорошо.
A nice display of flowers. Lovely, delicious flowers. I suppose a tiny nibble wouldn't hurt.
Careful, old thing, you'll get your head stuck in that vase.
I say you're right. Yes, my head goes all the way in. I can eat the stalks too.
Что, серьезно сажал? Ёлки-палки. Ну,
A long round glass vase. It's crystal clear.
можно взять.
Sticking your head in there again, wouldn't want to get stuck.
Ну, раз она пустая, то можно и взять ее.
There's nothing left to eat in this vase.
You're addicted, man.
Ладно, говори. Привет.
Greetings.
You are Lord Winklebottom, are you not?
I say, that's amazing. Did you see all that in your crystal ball? Or a message from the spirits, perhaps?
No, I saw an article about you in the newspaper earlier today.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose that would also work.
Anyway, I am very pleased to meet you. I am Madame Lavinia, and I am a spirit medium.
Well, quite. What can you tell me about Gilfrey?
Oh, that poor soul. Such tragedy in this household. First my dear Ethelberta, and
Она,
now
кстати, где?
Aristotle. Their daughter must be devastated.
Quite so, very sad business all round. Very sad.
What's your connection to Gilfrey?
I've known Ethelberta since she was a duckling. I've no idea why darling Aristotle invited me today, though. None at all.
Так, в смысле, ты же это, медиум, ты же должна знать. Хотя бы как минимум предвидеть. Так, мне идет. Я уже полчаса прошло. Так. Ладно, пока. Сейчас буду еще целый час, буду только с этими знакомиться.
Dame Celia's haberdashery bag. Knitting, sewing, wool, threads and such like.
А чё про других-то ничего не спросил?
I'm not going to open these, it'll let a terrible draft.
Возможно, это было бы и к лучшему.
Greetings, madam.
What's that, young man? Speak up!
I said greetings, madam.
No, it's no good. No diction. That's the problem with you young people. You need to learn to project, my boy.
We're not
Хорошо.
going to get very far here, Winklebottom. My diagnosis is the old bird is deaf as a post.
I'm so glad to have you here, Frumple. I've no idea how I would manage without your expert opinion on such matters.
Oh, thank you, old thing.
Пока.
Thank you for your time, madam.
What's that? Move your head closer. I can't hear you all the way up there.
I say, Winklebottom, do you know who this is? It's Dame Celia Wellington Boot.
I'm sure I have no idea.
But she's famous. Dame Celia was a star of the stage. I had quite the crush on her as a young calf.
Краш. Ага, хорошо, ничего интересного. Кухня. Боковая.
At least we know
Oh.
we can make more tea if we need to.
Ah, that's a relief. I feel like I've been nursing this cup for hours now. Though I'll make it next time and put the milk in first like you meant to.
Right then, let's turn this thing on. I say, Frumple, do you know how to work one of these things?
Not a clue.
Непонятно. Давай дверь откроем, посмотрим. О.
I suppose you have to light these to heat up the cooker.
Splendid deduction as always, Winklebottom.
Детективы, блин.
I can't just cause them to spontaneously combust.
When I was in the Calf Scouts, we'd make fires by rubbing twigs together.
I see, and do you have any twigs handy?
Ugh, you don't have to poo-poo all my ideas, you know.
It's surprising how often a good sharp knife comes in handy during an investigation. Any ideas, old thing?
Let's make sure we talk to everybody around the house.
A bowl of fruit. You know what they say, Frumple? An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Well, doesn't seem to have worked, does it?
Порежем фрукты, давай.
I have reservations about doing this.
Ну, я думал, будет хотя бы какой... Что-нибудь скажет насчет...
Nothing of interest in here.
Чай. Спички!
Oh, there are some matches in this box. I'll take these.
В смысле
or
одну?
this. There only seems to be one match left.
Так.
Just some odds
Непонятно.
and ends, nothing useful.
Тарелки.
Just some crockery.
Ладно. Нет, вот, смотри.
Frumple, you're the food expert. Do you think we should take this with us?
As you wish, but don't expect me to know what to do with it. I'm rather more interested in the end result than the process, you know.
Не знаю, что это будет, но... Давай подожди. Нет, наверное, надо...
To do this, as there's only one match left.
Надо там, наверное, бумагу какую-то сунуть.
There we go.
А,
The
нет.
cooker is heating up nicely now.
Хорошо.
At least we know we can make.
Ah, that's a relief.
А зачем я это сделал?
Oh my god. Frumple, look at this. This is terrible.
What? What is...
They're keeping red wine in the refrigerator. This is sacrilege.
Oh, is that all? I thought you found something important.
A block of butter. Might be useful. It's rock solid, however.
I like it when it's solid. Easier to take a bite out of it, you know.
I'm really not sure what the... Let's put the pan on the stovetop.
Давайте.
How thrilling. I've always wanted to try my hoof at cooking. Ah, look, Frumple. The heat has melted the butter into an oily liquid. I can hardly pick this up with my bare hoof.
Well, what about your mane? That's probably absorbent.
That's a disgusting thought, Frumple.
Кого впитать? Масло? Флакон не хочешь?
No, I don't think this is...
Какую-то тряпочку надо, значит. А
Just
зачем?
open this hatch.
Ой, нет ничего.
Ugh, blasted thing won't stay open.
Надо что-то подставить, да?
No, I don't think...
Ладно. Это
This door
закрыто.
appears to be locked. Most irritating.
Yes, quite so. Wonder where it leads to.
Можно попробовать загнуть эту. Открываешь.
This seems unlikely to be effective.
Ладно. Масло. Зачем нам масло? Что-то будем смазывать маслом. Ага. О! А, вот ты где. Вон.
I say, look at this, old boy. It's Gilfrey and I during our school days.
Ну, да куда
Ah,
же,
those were
нифига
happy
себе.
times.
Not for me. Couldn't abide school. The other boys used to make fun of my name. Dumple, they'd call me. The rotters.
A curious box. Oddly, it seems to be fixed in place. It appears, however, that parts of the map itself might actually move slightly.
Давай подвигаем. Пазлы, пазлы, я люблю пазлы. Если они несло. Европа, Руссия, Азия, татары. Африка. Спон. В смысле, а что они, как они, я не вижу, чтобы они двигались. А, видимо... Надо, видимо, нажать в правильном порядке, где он был. Аравия. Я-то думал, тут двигать что-то надо.
You know, Frumple, I'm not sure we have all the information we need to crack this puzzle.
Так.
One of those newfangled gramophone players. The music plays through this trumpet.
Modern technology is wonderful. Just look how tiny it is.
Ага.
A collection of gramophone records.
Oh look, they have Sounds of the Sea featuring Periwinkle, Flange and the Crustaceans. I love their music.
I think I'll stick to the classics.
Вот, давай что-нибудь поставим уже, чё?
I say, Winklebottom, I wonder if these chaps know what happened to Gilfrey.
You could ask, but I doubt they'd hear, and I don't suppose they saw anything anyway. And if they did, they wouldn't say. Ah, this chap is Lord Malcolm Schmidt. I've met him in the house a number of times. A great speaker, although I'm not sure all of it makes a good deal of sense.
Looks most distinguished.
Generally, yes, though not so much when food is around. He can get quite raucous at times. Ah, look in
Титаник.
here, the pride of the Admiralty. They say he had the sea running through his veins. Ah, look at this. It's Gilfrey and Ethelbert on their wedding day. A splendid time was had by all, I can assure you, Frumple. Such a tragedy Ethelbert had passed away so young.
Yes, terrible business. Just terrible.
Now, let us have a look in here.
Куча
Just
бумаг.
some papers. How boring.
Not inherently so, but in this case, yes. They don't seem to be of any great interest. Although it does seem odd that they're in such a mess. It's almost as if somebody had been rummaging through them in a hurry.
Best way, in my opinion, gets it out of the way. I much prefer reading things with nice pictures in them. Medical books have some excellent drawings.
One would hope that you at least glance at the words, mind you.
Итак, ну это священник какой-то.
Greetings, sir.
Ah, hello, my child. I am most pleased to make your acquaintance at this sad, sad time.
Pleased to meet you. I am Lord Winklebottom III, and this is my colleague, Dr. Reginald Frumple.
Никак.
Bless you, my children. I am Reverend Archibald Peabody.
Do you know why Gilfrey invited you here today?
Oh, I'm afraid I wouldn't know. I've not heard from him for a few years until just recently when he wrote to me out of the blue. I know he had something to announce, but I'm afraid I don't know what.
It is most intriguing, to be sure.
Ладно, что вы знаете
Do
про
you know any of
других?
the other guests?
I believe I may have seen Madame Lavinia at some interfaith conference or other, but not to speak to. Other than that, I'm afraid not.
Well, thank you for your time, Reverend.
Oh, yes, quite so, my boy, quite so.
У вас ты. Так.
Greetings.
Ah, Winklebottom, isn't it? I've written reports about your exploits for my newspaper.
Oh really? And which of our adventures have you covered?
Sorry, old thing. Not sure I recognize you.
Frumple? Dr. Frumple? You said you'd covered our cases.
Смотри, он глазами не шевелит.
That's right. You're the gentleman's gentleman, yes?
We're partners. Equal partners. Blasted hack.
All right, Frumple. Pleased to meet you, sir, but I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage.
Winslet's the name, old thing.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
I say, it's true what they say, then, about you preferring to walk on all fours. Bit old-fashioned these days, what?
I just happen to think it's rather more refined.
Plus he'd bash his bonds on the ceiling if he tried to walk in the modern style.
And how do you know Gilfrey? Do you know why you're invited here today?
In reverse order, not a blasted clue, and I'm engaged to his daughter Constance.
Я думаю, что ты подозреваемый.
You're a journalist, you say. Could that be the reason you're here?
Might be, old boy. The old fellow wasn't entirely taken with me, truth be told. But if he wanted somebody to get the word out about something, I'd certainly fit the bill.
You didn't get along with Gilfrey then?
Well, I mean, I've never actually met him, you understand. This is the first time Constance has brought me to the island. But I'm sure he wouldn't approve of me. Crikey, my own family don't. So why would somebody else's?
Так.
So you're engaged to young Constance over there?
Oh, Winklebottom, I'm a changed cat since meeting her. I was quite the party animal, but fair to say, she's tamed me.
You didn't get on with the Admiral, though.
It was nothing he said, you understand, but I don't think he approved. Don't have a lot of luck with family. Even my own. decided to me.
I say, that's rather harsh of them.
Too many parties, I suppose. And being a journalist is not exactly an appropriate job for somebody of my status, you know.
Most unfortunate.
I get to keep the title. I'm a baronet, don't you know? But I'm afraid it's left me rather cash poor.
Я думаю, что так все, да?
Thank you for your time.
Хорошо. А, так вон она, дочь-то.
A relic of the Great Frog Wars. Gilfrey was most fond of ancient history.
I say, that Axis carrying would do you a real mischief if you got on the wrong end of it.
A collection of books, nothing of any great interest right now. An award for Amphibian of the Year. A finer amphibian you could never hope to meet, eh, Frumple? A sporting trophy won by Gilfrey. He was always such a strong, fit chap.
Won a few sporting trophies myself in my youth, you know. Came second in the old boys' egg and spoon race back at the old academy. They let me keep the spoon. Had to give back the anchor mind. Matron only laid it that morning.
Various works of fiction. These are most likely Ethelberta's. Aristotle preferred his scientific tomes instead.
Ugh, Shakespeare. The masters made us read it at school, toted old rot. Don't mind the one with the two lovers from rival families of mongooses and capybaras, though.
Так, давай дальше. Пригодится.
Let's take these with us.
Indeed, it would be sheer folly to leave them. I say, sheer folly, because they're...
Yes, I understood. Actually, I believe they're secateurs. I say, this is the most appetizing looking foliage. I don't really want to lug around an entire hosepipe if I don't have a reason to.
А, ну... Давай поговорим сначала.
Greetings, you must be Miss Gilfrey. Our most sincere condolences on your sad loss.
If it isn't Lord Winklebottom. Father talked about you often, and you must be Mr. Frumple?
Doctor, actually. That is, I mean, sorry for your loss, miss.
First mother and now this. I think we must have done something unspeakable in a past life to suffer so much pain in this one. Don't you agree, Lord Winklebottom?
There has been some terrible tragedy here, I agree, but I fear there may be some more earthly causes for the most recent one, at least.
You think there's villainy at work here?
We don't know yet, however his death was quite a shock, as far as I know he was fit as a fiddle before he died. In any case, Dr. Frumple will be able to tell us more.
I think, if you don't mind, I'd just like to be left alone for a while.
Goodbye for now, Miss Gil.
Ну что ж,
I once knew a chap who was killed after getting trapped in one of those. Sir Bumbles II. Very nasty way to go.
оставим пока девушку.
This pitcher plant is full of nasty looking liquid. Some kind of sap, I presume.
What did you call me?
Так, а можно я эту жидкость?
Even with this bottle, I really don't want to carry this stuff around without...
Ага, не пентес, хорошо.
A cactus, covered in dozens of needles.
I'm keeping well away. Got a dreadful phobia of needles, don't you know?
Doesn't that rather interfere with your work as a doctor?
Not at all. I just close my eyes when I use them, that's all. It's very common fear, you know. Most of my patients scream when they see me with one.
Конечно, конечно. Так, как? Не пентес? Так.
Oh, just look at him, Frumple. Died in his house tube network. It simply doesn't make any sense. He was such a hardy fellow.
Старикан, а ты не старикан? Или он
We
просто
can get
меньше
him out
живет?
and I'll determine what killed him. Never you fear.
Так, а тут что?
Nothing to be done for the poor fellow until we can drain the water, I fear.
We shall have to get him out of there if I'm to do an autopsy. Can't very well determine the cause of death just by gulping him through the glass, you know.
Хорошо. Так, с вами поговорили. Наружу выйти не... Ага, можно этого вызвать.
Oh, Isaiah, gong. Shall I gong it?
Гонгнуть, ну давай.
Entirely convinced that gong is a verb, but very well if you...
Gong.
You don't actually need to say gong, you know?
Oh, well, I suppose, but where's the fun in that?
Strange, the maid said this would call the butler, but he's nowhere to be seen. Perhaps we could discuss the other...
I say, I gonged that gong over there and your butler fellow didn't show up.
Well, he is a bit on the slow side, but he's quite reliable.
Who else is on the staff here?
Other than Ambrose, it's just Pumphrey, the gardener. Such a shame to see the house.
Used to be more of you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Это я читал, ладно.
What can you tell...
I don't know any of them well.
Thank you very much. That'll be all for now, man.
Ну ладно, пошли. Так. Игрушка. Не понял.
This looks like a child's doll. It seems to be a cuddly axolotl.
Bit of an odd thing to keep around.
Кто-то влюбил. А это почему мокрая?
Ugh, this bed is absolutely filthy.
А, это, наверное, как...
Looks like some kind of slime or mucus. I'd say this bed is used by a mollusk of some sort. Filthy.
Все, больше нечего сказать. Так. Я сейчас заблудился, а где я эти видел? Ой, явно не тут. Вот. Справочник.
I wonder if I can find any information about that plant we saw in the orangery. Ah, yes, here we are.
What does it say?
Apparently, that sticky fluid in the plant is a kind of resin. Mix it with a strong alkali and apply a heat source and it'll set hard as rock.
Maybe we could use that for something if we can get hold of a heat source.
Щелочь. Зачем мне щелочь и зачем мне твердая штука? Щелочь. У меня вообще есть нож, есть, можно отрезать, можно. Так. Давай возьмем, вдруг пригодится.
Right then, I'll collect a quantity of sap in the empty bottle.
Чтобы найти щелочь.
Some sap from... No, I don't think... I'm really not sure whether plant...
Давай отрежем.
I'd really rather not.
Почему нет? Съешь его.
My word, this plant really does look frightfully tasty.
Ну давай.
Oh dear, how awfully embarrassing. I do hope that wasn't an important clue.
Надеюсь.
Goodbye for now.
Нет, подожди. Так, это мухоловка. Давай-ка ее зарежем.
This seems unlikely.
Ну давай
This seems
секать.
unlikely to be.
А зачем нам тогда секатор? Нам нужна какая-то тряпка. А зачем? Фотографии его путешествий. Так. Чердак закрыт. Вот. Египет. Что там еще?
Photographs from some of Gilfrey's expeditions.
Непонятно.
certainly got around.
Не. Непонятно слишком.
I think I'll leave these be. Not really.
I mean, you've done nothing but walk around picking up things that don't belong to you since we left home this morning, but have to draw the line somewhere, what?
Нет, и оно могло пригодиться, в принципе. Так.
Thank you, miss.
Никто ничего про других не хочет рассказать, да?
Greetings, good sir.
Ulysses spoke.
What a ludicrous...
Quite so.
А, так это все уже было.
We shall
Ладно.
speak more.
Always.
Значит, надо туда, где я еще не был.
I'm really not sure what an envelope with.
Так, зачем мне пустой конверт?
This seems unlikely.
Что мне с ним делать? Что мне делать с картой острова? Опа-па. Вот я...
I say, Frumple, look, there's an imprint here. Somebody must have dropped something in the wet mud. On the shade.
А, ну вот теперь понятно, что находим щелочь, греем это все и заливаем, получаем ключ. От чего?
It's very obviously a key. There's no need to act so badly clever about it, you know?
As you say, a key.
Так, это вы, Памфри.
Hello, my good man.
Do you mind? I have work to do. This storm is going to ruin my plants.
Perhaps you've not yet heard, but I'm afraid your master.
Oh, I've heard. And where does that leave me? That's what I want to know. Bloody inconsiderate of him it is.
Charming fellow, isn't he?
I wonder if you could help procure me some kind of portable heat source.
Procure a heat source? Look, Mush, if you want to borrow a lamp, just bloody well say so, why don't you?
Well, if it's not too much trouble.
Oh, no, that's just fine and dandy. I tell you what, you wait here in the shelter while I go off in the middle of a bloody storm to find you a lamp. Wouldn't want you to go to any bother, like.
Most gracious of you, I'm sure.
Well, here you are then. Do be careful not to burn your bloody hooves on it, won't you? I'm off inside, now that I've battened down the hatches out here. Don't feel you have to follow me, like.
Классно.
Never did like invertebrates.
A lamp with paraffin in it.
Так.
It's no good, we won't get anywhere in this weather. We'll have to wait until the storm clears up.
Щелочь нужен мне, значит. Оп.
I say, Frumple, what on earth was that?
Some kind of commotion coming from the drawing room, I think.
Quickly, we must investigate.
Еще что?
Quick,
Кто-то
Frumple,
растение
behind you.
сожрал.
Miss Gilfrey is in grave danger. Miss Gilfrey, what is it? Whatever is the matter?
Oh, Lord Winklebottom, it was terrible. A simply frightful thing.
I say, steady on. What are you talking about?
Out there, Dr. Frumple, out in the dark, it was a creature, a thing. I've never seen such a ghastly sight.
Are you sure, Miss Gilfrey? Could it perhaps have been Mr. Walters returning to his boat?
It wasn't a person, Lord Winklebottom. It wasn't an animal at all. It was wet and hairless and... Oh, God, that face! I shall never forget it.
Еще кто-то увидел.
What now? Please, try to be calm, Miss Gilfrey. We must investigate.
Investigate.
Oh, sirs, thank goodness you're here. He just burst in, soaking wet, ranting and raving about a monster.
Gah! A foul, fearsome beast! Away! Away with you!
Poor fellow looks in a bad way. Grumble?
Значит, их двое кто видел.
Chap seems delusional. We should get him into bed for some rest.
Came at me out the trees, a malign monster! Ah! 'Tis after me! 'Tis after me!
Подожди, у них же там кто-то еще есть.
Looks like he needs a good rest.
He can use one of the beds in the servants' quarters. I'm sure Ambrose won't object.
Вот, где кудрявец?
Right then, Frumple, let's help get him into bed.
As long as I don't have to get too close, he smells like a blessed brewery.
Come on then, old chap.
Так, у нас есть убийство и монстр еще
Right, we've
появился.
got the fellow settled. Should be right as rain soon.
As long as the bar guest doesn't come for him.
I say what?
Что?
Oh, never mind me, sir. Just a silly fancy.
Did you say Barguest? Like the name of this island?
Stuffed, really, I
Bogust,
suppose,
Bogust.
but the bar guest is a ferocious monster said to roam the island at night. He's part dog, part monster. They say that.
Sounds like a pretty disagreeable chap, what? As a poppycock, mind you.
Well, one last thing, sirs, if it pleases you. In all the commotion, Madame Lavinia has misplaced her crystal ball. Says it's been stolen. Would you believe it?
Dashed careless of her.
I've promised to keep an eye out for anything suspicious out here, but maybe you could go and talk to her.
Very well, we shall see what the problem is.
Хорошо. Итак, мы поговорили со всеми, потыкали во всех. Появился монстр. Кстати. Секатор. Зачем нам секатор? Можешь уже в следующей части продолжить, да? Пока все.